Hi, Sharon. Alexander.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I've heard that you lost your sister.
I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
thank you. And yeah, it's sad, and at the same time, I'm at peace because she was suffering,
Sure.
and it was time for her to go. It
Uh,
was. It's. I think she chose. I think her body came up with this new situation, illness that surprised us all. Anything she had before wasn't life threatening.
hmm,
Um, and then all of a sudden she was gone. And so we were all surprised. But I just feel, I think her soul just said, it's time to get out of here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. That brings some comfort, doesn't it? But still hard.
Yeah, it's just the grief from the loss. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. It really is because I'm in such gratitude that she was able to pass and beyond her way,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Good. Good.
beyond her way.
Good. Yeah.
How are you
Well,
doing?
don't let me take you from anything you might be doing to prepare. I just wanted to log in um, and get all set up. I'm doing well. I got to have a little vacation, a little trip. So coming back feeling filled up.
Good. I'm glad you got that break. I'm sure it was much needed.
Thank you. Yes, that was good.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, both of you.
Hi, Sue.
Hi. So, Sharon, you do yoga, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you do some really simple yoga?
Yes. I teach 2 classes a week on Monday and Thursday mornings, which is why I can't attend your Thursday session. It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time, which I guess is your time. Yeah, but it's and Evie participates, gentle and mindful. I sometimes refer to it as mindful movement, sometimes as therapeutic yoga. It's really informed by whoever is there and whatever you need. And I just take the information in and then sort of am guided to create something that seems to work for everybody. Evie, if you want to comment, hi, and we can talk too if you have questions.
It's a nice intimate group. It's never the same. It's really catered to what each of us needs. Includes mindful breathing practice, which yoga teachers rarely do. And it's just lovely.
Okay, I'll get the rest of the information from you. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, great. Join us.
It sounds wonderful. I have a yoga teacher already online, and she does chair yoga and introduces a lot of breathing and stuff, and it works for me with my limited physical body. So, or I'd probably be on yours.
Yeah. Oh, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be able to connect, and I love our little group.
Good. Well, it is 2 o'clock. I think I'll wait like maybe 30 more seconds and see if someone else comes on. And then I'll go ahead and set the space. Sharon couldn't be on today. She got on just for a second to start the recording. And then had an appointment she had to be at. So,
and unfortunately, I told you I'll have to leave for a dental appointment.
What'd you say, 2:45?
Yeah.
Okay, well, after I give my presentation, maybe, if you want to jump in and speak first, so you have a chance to have input if you want. So before you have to go, and we can decide at the end with everyone whether you want to do a short journey or not, depending on their time. So I'm open to whatever. So, well, I think given that your time, we should just go ahead and set the circle. So just be comfortable and just close your eyes if you want, and just bring your attention to your breath and let your breath draw you fully into the present moment. And as you continue to breathe, bring your breath down through your body and into Mother Earth, beautiful Gaia, thanking her for holding us in this space. And then bring your energy up from the earth and into your heart. Now bringing your breath up, open your crown chakra to the energies of the heavens, the sun, the moon, the stars, Father Sky, and bring this energy down through your crown chakra and into your heart. And we are now securely anchored in the rich, golden, crystalline soil of Mother Earth and the brilliant white energies of the heavens. We are held in the sixfold cocoon with a guardian shield of protection. We also call in our own spiritual guides, teams, teachers to be present. All those beings of light and love and truth and integrity and generosity and love and joy and compassion and abundance, all those qualities that we would give to our spiritual teams. And we offer gratitude for the support we have as star beings on this earth. And we are especially grateful to be together in this circle to support each other. And so it is. And our circle is set. So we all know the drill, placing ourselves in the circle with stating your name, where you are on the planet, name of individuals or numbers of individuals, any life forms of any kind or situations that you want to place in the circle. And then naming a quality that you want to have activated in the circle today. So I will start. I'm Lynn Cashman. I'm in Des Moines, Washington. And I especially put in my sister Geneva as she transitions back to the star life. And 15 individuals also to put in the circle, and a number of world situations, especially the one in Israel and Palestine. And the word I put into the circle today is light. That's the virtue and quality I want. So whoever, let's see, I'll call on Arlie.
Hi, I'm Arlie in New Zealand. I'd like to put 23 people in the circle, and especially my eldest daughter. I also want to put my dog in, who has a very serious condition. Several world situations, special emphasis on the Middle East. I am really concerned about how this can grow into a much larger conflagration involving many more countries. And the quality I would like to bring in is kindness. And I will call on Sharon Alexander.
Thanks, Arlie. Hi, ladies. I am in Boulder, Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful fall day. Whispers of snow in the forecast sometime next week. And I would like to bring 25 people into the circle. One furry friend and several, of course, global situations and the quality of inner peace and compassion. Thank you. And I call on Evie.
Evie in Anacortes, And I'd like to bring 15 people, one personal situation into the circle. I'd like to also bring in the Middle East, and I'd like to bring in all of our Congress to be making wiser, relevant decisions. And I will add to the emphasis of peace and just saying peace first and common sense. And I'll pass to Sue.
Thank you. I'm going to do it different this time. I'm going to bring in the 4 kingdoms: plant, animal, human, mineral. And my quality is miracles of divine interventions. And I believe we are back to you, Lynn.
Yes, we are. Okay, I'm just adding these up here. Okay, so if I added correctly, we have 78, I should say 74 individuals, 4 kingdoms. We have a couple furry friends. We have an eldest daughter. We have the Middle East situation. And Congress for wiser decisions. And I think that's all of the putting into the circle the qualities of light and kindness, inner peace and compassion, peace and common sense, and miracles of divine intervention. Did I miss anything? Okay. Well, you saw in Sharon's email that I wanted to talk about autumn and how autumn, the season of autumn, the signs of autumn can be reflected in our own life. And I think my first remembrance of the first time that I seriously thought about the signs of autumn being near in my life was about 25 years ago. And I remember vividly, I was driving to work on a tree-lined road, and a single leaf fell across my windshield. And I probably had done that many times before, but in this moment, I remember thinking, or perhaps it was a prayer. And I know I wrote it down, but I couldn't find it. I had it in one of my journals, but something to the effect of, dear God, help me to be like the trees falling from the leaves. Try this again. Help me to be like the leaves falling from the trees, trusting to let go of what is no longer supportive in my life in order for new life to come forth in perfect timing. And I thought in a moment, can I trust enough to do this with faith that I will bring forth new life, just as the trees innately do in the spring? So I've thought about autumn differently ever since that time, because I used to not like autumn. My husband would say, autumn, oh, I love it, it's my friend. I go, no, summer is disappearing. And to me, it was like a window to winter, and I was just thinking of the bleakness of winter. But after that, I started looking at, the gifts of autumn. Because the season of autumn or fall invites us to reflect on letting go and waiting, it can remind us of times in our own life of letting go and pausing that often lead to transformation in our lives. What might we be hanging on to that is hindering our growth? In one of David Adams' book, an author, I don't remember the name of the book, he relates the seasons of the year to the tides of the ocean. And he says that fall is the ebb tide. It's the receding tide, the diminishing tide. It's like a pulling back in, like the trees do as they drop their leaves. And the falling leaves of autumn, it can also represent the natural cycle of life and death and the importance, excuse me, the impervience. Let me try that word again. The impermanence, get it yet? The impermanence of things. So it invites us to embrace change and reminds us that our body, mind, and surroundings are always developing. So as I was preparing this over the last week, I decided what I wanted to do was put forth what I see as 5 invitations from autumn. At first I said lessons. I thought, no, lessons, it's not a teaching. Invitations is so much more softer. It's more opening. There are probably many more, which you can add to, but these are the 5 that I came up with. And the first one was embracing the change. Nature does this, just is built into their very nature, and they're rewarded by that in the spring. So everything in life is fluid and changing, and we do best if we can embrace the change in order for us to move forward. To me, it's really strange that autumn is so beautiful. The colors of autumn are just so gorgeous, yet everything is dying or preparing to die. So nature embraces the temporary death in order to be reborn in the spring. And I thought, not every change, in fact, most changes, aren't always positive. Transition can involve a lot of pain and crises. It can be a negative change that shakes up our lives and our values, but can later, as we look back, prove to be vital to our self-growth. So that's my first lesson, or first invitation, is to embrace the change. The second one was learning to let go. The autumn season demonstrates that it's crucial to let go of the things that belong to the past. Nature says goodbye to the cheerful summer version of itself, with the flowers dying down. And they have an innate knowing that there's life to come. So if we don't let things go and we decide instead to continually dwell on the past, our personal growth can stop, or we find ourselves stuck. So learning to let go. The third one is to be part of something bigger. The transitional seasons of both spring and autumn are when we are most affected, I believe, by the processes taking place in the natural environment around us. This is a time of year that has influence on our physical and our mental well-being. But, and I was thinking that I thought, for someone who's dealing with a mental or a chronic illness, these transitional seasons can be even more difficult. But even a healthy individual can be affected by the transition points in the cycle of seasons. For example, in spring, we may feel a bit more alive, enthusiastic, optimistic, by nature's new beginnings. I know I feel that in my body when I start to see the first flowers popping up. In fall, we may experience a drop in moods and energy. We may feel tired for no reason. And excuse me, my phone. And I think that this is the fact that in the autumn season, especially, we feel a deeper connection to nature. We realize we're part of something bigger and are drawn, maybe even unconsciously, to live in harmony with our natural environment. You may find this for yourself, or you may not. But perhaps it calls us to shift our focus deeper into ourselves, just as the trees draw into themselves for the winter. And then the fourth one is that I see autumn as, autumn is a time of harvest. It's a time when we gather the harvest of our work during the year. And that gathering might be the produce from our garden. It might be from our career achievements, or the results of any efforts we might be doing to become a better person or grow spiritually, whatever. It's a good time to reflect back on that growth and to say, this is a harvest time. Just to look at your growth in all areas of your life. And then the last invitation that I saw was to enjoy the little things in life. As the trees drop their leaves and rest for the winter, we too can look to them for guidance in our own lives. A time to remember that going inward and doing maybe more self-care is as important as the times of activity and accomplishment. A time to enjoy a cup of tea, a warm blanket, a book, especially after maybe being outside in the autumn cold, those gifts of small joy. So a time to realize the greater power of the little joys in our life. So those are the 5 invitations that I see about autumn that I wanted to share. And for myself, the death of my sister, the sudden death, I find myself, because of it, I find the signs of autumn being fully present in my life right now. The letting go, the transition, just having to embrace the change of no longer having her in my life in a physical body, but even more so in a spiritual sense. So I just find it very interesting that while I was preparing this last week, I didn't know this because it was a sudden thing that came on with her. And all of a sudden I found myself thrown right into what I was writing about. So what a gift that was, or is. But I want to hear from you. So, I want to open the circle for anyone who wants to share how they see autumn's gifts or challenges or changes, calling them now, or how they have been in the past, how they've seen those gifts, how the season of autumn is showing up in your life or has shown up in your life. So we'll just do it popcorn style, so feel free to jump in. Evie.
While I hate letting go of summer, I've always loved this time of year because I associate it with new beginnings. And coincidentally, being Jewish, it is the time for both the new year, but it's also the time to reflect on the past year and to look at what can we do better, or apologizing to those that we may have hurt. so it asks me for more awareness of those things. And I also associate it still with going back to school. And even though I'm not in any kind of, well, I am. I'm in the school of life. And fall in the school of life is always got its surprises and changes. You don't totally know the curriculum, but it's kind of prompts me to be reflective about what new learnings are going to be taking place, both those that I seek as well as those that come to me. It's also a time for planting those crops that will come up in the spring, or those that are hardy to maintain us through the winter. And as much as I hate letting go of the light, there is a certain warmth in darkness, because darkness promotes stillness, and stillness promotes the gathering in, kind of the lighting the fire within and being still there. And it is also my favorite couple of months because of Thanksgiving, which to me, the whole fall season is the season of gratitude and appreciation. And I just want to celebrate with all those around me for what we supported each other for, and what we recognize as our gifts. So that's how I see it, and I think this is a great prompt for me to do some more journaling about the relationship and the connection with the seasons and how I'm feeling. So thanks.
Anyone else?
Well, what I recognized was that I used to enjoy each of the seasons. And I'm resisting, and I've been doing this for a while, resisting fall and resisting winter. And I think it's because I'm older. And I just don't navigate as well as I used to. So walking on the beach, I was being more careful. Going up and down stairs, I'm more careful. I used to just run up and down stairs. So I think, and I never thought of fall as representing anything except fall, which is the trees aren't dying, they're just losing their leaves, making way for the new growth in spring. And so it's just the passing of seasons. And I never thought about it any more than that. But I am working on letting go of the past. When Sharon said, suggested a protocol for separating the physical body from the spiritual body, what made more sense to me was separating my emotional body from my physical body, because my emotional body holds all the trauma. It's the pain body. It's my history. It's my story. I want to learn from it. I don't want to hold on to any of the trauma or the drama. I don't even want to hold on to the stories. I just want to let it all go. So I would like to be able to let it go like a tree letting the leaves fall, and just let it all go. Kind of like water running off a duck's back. But what I found is that those, the story and the trauma have hooks on them and they're anchored in. And it's been a long journey. It's been a lot of work. So we have to go through all the tree has to go through all the seasons in order to grow the leaves and then to let them go. So there's a season for everything. And I'm getting better at accepting life as a journey, as opposed to being a destination and a laundry list of accomplishments. And it's so simple, it's annoying, because the more simple it is, the more basic it is, and the harder it truly is it pretty much goes against, consumerism and competition for who's best. And that's the rat race I want to also give up. Well, I'm retired, I already did give it up, but mentally I can still be there. And so I have to give it up. It's part of the emotional body. It seems like everything I've learned about being active in the world, I have to let go of now. And it didn't even have any true meaning to it. Because whatever value I gave it, it was 5 minutes. Because somebody else came along and beat my score. And then I'd have to work really hard to get on top. So it's a rat race that I am happy to give up. And replace it with being still and know that I am God. And there's a divine order. And that when I am in that grace and in that flow, I feel safe and connected and a part of everything that's going on. That's wonderful and beautiful. So fall, okay, it's going to be my season for letting everything go that I no longer need from this at this time. And come winter, I'll figure out what I'm doing then. It's a journey. It's a much better journey. It's a much, much better journey. It has so much more meaning and value to it. And it feels good when I'm actually plugged into it, as opposed to trying to, make it happen. Thank you.
These shoulder seasons have become an incredibly interesting time energy-wise for me, because living here in New Zealand, it is springtime. Everything needs to be planted. Things are growing. The days are getting longer. And I am also Jewish. I am very plugged into the Jewish energy. And we just celebrated the harvest festival of Sukkot. So on the one side, I'm out there planting tomatoes. And on the other side, I'm building the structure and decorating it with harvest vegetable pictures, because we don't have harvest vegetables. And plugged in celebrating with the Jews of the world harvest. So it's the sort of thing where you really learn to balance yourself hour by hour, and you learn to shift. I am learning how to shift with great facility, joy, and ease from, hey, it's harvest, bounty, Thanksgiving for the harvest. And yay, it's springtime and plant everything, and Thanksgiving for the growing shoots. Giving things up, inviting things in. The full moon comes and we're in one season, and the new moon comes and I'm in the other season. It's been wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful to not have these absolutes. Yeah, and to be the effect of being plugged into this worldwide energy of being Jewish And having that all come in as a huge sisterhood, a huge community, and having it affect my life in this way has been interesting. And I am done.
I've enjoyed listening to each of you. It's been wonderful. I love fall. And I just came back last Tuesday from France. So I can't think of a better, the weather has been exquisite. It just seems more enhanced or emphasized or whatever the beauty of fall this past week, because the skies are amazingly blue, and then the colors, the oranges and golds and reds, it's just been wonderful. And I very much appreciate it. And I'm with you all on the seasons and the transitions and the shoulders. And I really hear what you're saying, Sue, about getting older. For me, I've been so cold in our house. You know, it's a transition just in the house, much like a lake turns over, right? Like the warm water is on top and then it drops to the bottom and the cold water comes up for the winter. I feel like my house is kind of hasn't transitioned yet. It's cold. And my husband doesn't think the heat should go on until November or until he changes the filters. I'm like, dude, it's going to snow next week. The heat is coming on. So do what you need to do to the filters because I'm turning on the heat. So anyway, I loved your presentation. What comes up for me is my mother's passing, which was just about 2 years ago on November 3rd. And I remember last year being kind of in a funky place from sort of middle October. So not yet there this year, but wondering if that might come again. And I remember around that time talking with her about the veils being thinner, and you know, it's easier to walk between worlds or whatever it is. And then she chose to pass. And I remember, Arlie, you and I were in like a dyad thing in one of the trainings, and you're like, just tell her to pass already or something like that. And I was, anyway, so she did, you know, and it was really her choosing. Life led her to that point where she could choose and be supported. But so I think that it'll always be an interesting time for me now, mid-October through into November. And it's just nice to have community and to be able to talk at this level about what we observe in nature, and that being mirrored or reflected by, or an invitation for us to grow into or experience in ourselves. So yeah, a time for letting go, knowing that, yeah, I think it's a time for doing less and drawing in, and by doing that, knowing that the right thing will express itself again at the right time. Thank you.
So, Marielle, I know you came in late. We're talking about the season of autumn and how it calls us, how the changes around us, you know, may be reflected in our own body or our own life. Was there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, sorry, I get mixed up. Like the other day, it was a Wednesday and I showed up at 5. And today I had written 5:30 on my schedule. I think I'll get it right. So actually, according to my schedule, I'm not late. So about fall, it's Thanksgiving here in Canada today. So an important day for the fall. The weather is so. We've had a lot of rain, like 100 centimeters in a 100. Is it possible? Anyway, it was a record rain. So lots of flooding and stuff like that. Apart from that, I don't know. I'm okay with fall because I don't like extreme heat. So, and I'm a Libra, so I'm a fall. I have a fall birthday. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for, I love one of the gifts of this circle. And I'm sorry that I'd forgotten too, that, Arlie, of course you're not in fall, you're in spring. And Marielle, you're in Thanksgiving and we haven't gotten there yet. And it's, I just think it's a gift. I feel it's a gift to me anyway, that we have people in different parts of the world so we can, I think, understand each other better and learn about different ways. So thank you, Arlie, for sharing your spring and your Jewish holidays. And enjoy when you get to autumn. So is there anything else anyone wants to say? We can do a journey if you want to do a journey, a short, like a 10-minute journey, or not. And whether we do the journey or not, I'll close with a poem by reading a poem by Wendy Jansen about autumn. So what's your choice? Journey, give me a thumbs up. No journey, give me a thumbs down. Let's do a short journey, just 10 minutes. I know, Abby, that you'll need to leave, but we can just have it as a time to go in. You can take autumn and some of the things we talked about if you want, but just a time to hear what your teams may want to say to you, or for you to present a question you may want to ask them. A reminder is always to keep our videos on, so that it energizes the circle, that we're all present, even if you're laying down or whatever. So let's do it, and let me get a timer here. And I'll just say a few words and then call you back in 10 minutes. Happy journeying. So let's just close our eyes and move yourself into a quiet space, remembering that we have set the circle and that we are held in the sacred ground of sovereignty, surrounded by the sixfold cocoon, guardian circle, and our teams of protection and guidance and love. And I invite them to take you to a place which is most sacred for you and safe for you to do your journey. And I'll call you back in 10 minutes. So take a moment to complete what you're present in. And when you're ready, have your team move you back into the circle here in this time and place. Okay. Well, the space is now open for anyone who wants to share anything from their journey.
I can share a little bit, and part of it is something I've been wondering about. And I'll start by saying when I first closed my eyes, I just saw this grid, like these straight lines at right angles, and then diamond shaped, but all sort of geometric and straight lines. And then it was like that. Those are the spaces between the lines was a portal, were portals, and just behind that was this space that was infinite